Hi guys, it's Chako-chan. Minasan konnichiwa, Chako-chan desu. Welcome back to my channel. A little while ago, I asked around on Instagram for some old wives' tales on predicting the gender of your baby. So there's lots of different myths and like old wives' tales out there about predicting the gender of your baby before it's born. Obviously, like in the olden days, they didn't have ultrasound technology, so it wasn't as easy to tell. So I think lots of different cultures have just come up with fun, interesting ways to kind of like try and guess what the baby's gender is going to be, because like everybody wants to know, right? It's a big thing. So for this video, I thought it would be interesting to kind of test out some of these different gender myths out there to see if any of them are true or accurate. So I got some good feedback, and then I also found a couple online through some separate research, which I thought were kind of interesting and I wanted to include. So in total, there's 14 that I chose, and I thought that would be good because it's a pretty even number. You can divide it by 2 easily, so I just thought it would be interesting to see which gender wins according to some of these old legends and wives' tales. And I will be putting a tally up here, and we'll see at the end of this video who wins, boy or girl. So, let's get started with number 1, which is really interesting. This is a Japanese age method. For this one, we need to take the parent's age at the time of conception. So in Japan, they believe that blood is completely renewed in the body every 4 years for men and every 3 years for women. So for this one, we need to know the age of each of us at the time of conception. When you take the age and divide it, whoever has the higher number is the winner. So their gender is going to be the gender of your baby. So that would have been for Maki, 35 divided by 4 equals 8.75. And for me, I'm 33, so divided by 3 is 11. So if you base off of those numbers, I should be having a girl. So for number 2, this one deals with the mother's preconception diet. So like what her diet was like right before she conceived the baby. Actually, this one has a little bit of science based in it. So apparently scientists have proved that food with a lot of potassium in it, such as, I don't know, bananas, maybe some meats, will be more likely to produce a boy child. They say that if you eat a lot of salty foods, drink a lot of tea or coffee or like carbonated water, that's like got more potassium in the diet, so it's more likely to be a boy. Whereas if you eat a lot of calcium, so like dairy products or certain fishes, that indicates that you'll be more likely to have a girl. So for me, I don't eat that much dairy, maybe like once a week, and usually not on purpose. It's like mixed in with something that I'm eating. But I do drink a lot of tea and I eat a lot of savory, salty foods all the time. So that should indicate that we're having a boy. Okay, next one is, this is a pretty common one that I've heard a lot in the past. So sweet versus salty cravings. So they say that if you have a lot of sweet cravings, you are going to be having a girl. Whereas if you crave salty foods a lot, you'll be having a boy. For me, I guess in general, if I had to pick, I did crave a lot more salty foods in the beginning of this pregnancy and less sweet stuff. But now, like, I just want to eat whatever. I eat a lot of fruit, honestly. I'm always craving like fruit, but not exactly desserts all the time. So I guess that means it's a boy. Number 4 is morning sickness. So a lot of cultures say that if you have really bad morning sickness in the beginning, that means you're going to have a girl, because a girl has a lot of extra hormones. And it's a scientifically proven fact that the extra hormones in your body are a big cause of morning sickness. But if you have less morning sickness or it's more mild, that's a boy. So for me, actually, I find the opposite is true. I've had 3 pregnancies, so this is my 4th pregnancy. And in all 3 of my previous pregnancies, I've had incredibly terrible morning sickness. And it seems to have gotten worse and lasted longer with each baby that I've had. And they've all been boys. And this time is no exception. In fact, I would say probably this time has been the worst. So that, I guess, is opposite of the myth. So I'm not really sure how to judge that, but like, if you're just going based off of that myth, then it should be that I'm having a girl. So I'll mark down girl for that one. Next one is pregnancy glow or having really good skin. If you have like really nice skin or if you appear to be glowing, they say that you're going to be having a boy. Whereas if you have really bad skin or like you just look tired all the time, that's a girl, because the girl steals her mother's beauty. Honestly, in all of my 3 previous pregnancies, I've had incredibly good skin, but this time around, not so much. I've had like pretty bad skin. And yeah, I just look tired all the time. And yeah, I've got like shadows and stuff on my face and lots of acne. So I guess that indicates that it's a girl. Number 6 is carrying high versus carrying low. So for this one, they say that if you're carrying really high, it's a girl. But if your belly is like lower, it's a boy. So first let me back up here and I'll show you the state of the bump. Okay, this is the belly. So actually for me, this is pretty high. I would consider this to be like the highest I've ever carried. Usually I'm like further down here. But we're just like in the middle of pregnancy, so it could gradually get lower, but in general, I would say this is pretty high. So if it's high, that's supposed to be a girl. For number 7, this is also kind of related to belly shape or size. So they say that if you have a really round, like melon or basketball shaped belly, that's supposedly a boy. Whereas if you're kind of like just larger in general, or like the belly shape is less defined, it's a girl. So all 3 of my previous pregnancies have been boys, and I've always had like a really defined, extremely round belly. So let's look at this one. Let's see what it's like. Okay, this is the belly. I would say this is pretty round, pretty melon-esque, pretty basketball shaped. So that's on par with all of my previous pregnancies. So that would indicate boy. Okay, so for number 8, this one is about your overall weight gain. So it's said that if you tend to gain weight like overall in your whole body, you're more likely to be having a girl. Whereas if you look at a pregnant woman from behind and you can't really tell that she's pregnant, that's said to be a boy. So for me, this has actually been pretty accurate for my previous 3 pregnancies. I've really haven't gained a ton of weight all around overall. I mean, like my face gets pretty swollen at the end. Like my arms get thicker, and then I gain a lot of weight in the belly area, but other than that, I don't really gain too much weight in other parts of my body. So let's do a test. Let's see what I look like from behind and see if you can tell if I look pregnant. Okay, this is me from behind, and then from the side. Yeah, I know, at the front. So for me personally, I think that I don't look super pregnant from behind. Of course, earlier on in this pregnancy, that was more true. Now that I'm getting bigger, it's starting to get a little bit more obvious, but I would say in general, like I haven't gained weight everywhere, like some people do. So for me, this is boy. Number 9 is the ring test. So this old wives' tale says that you should tie your wedding ring to a string and you hold it over your belly, and if it turns in a circular motion, it's a girl, or if it goes back and forth or side to side, it's a boy. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna tie my ring to a string and let's see what it is. Okay, just got my wedding ring here, which I've tied onto a string. So let's see which way it turns. Oh, it's going back and forth. So according to that, because it went back and forth, it should be a boy. For number 10, this is called the Chinese gender test. Now there's different charts that you can find online. A lot of Asian cultures apparently use these charts to predict the gender of your baby. I've seen a lot of different variations of this out there. But basically it requires you to take the month of conception and then the mother's age at that time. And then you compare it to this chart that you can find online, and that's supposed to predict the gender. So I'm gonna do a little screenshot here, and if you see, so I conceived in January, and then I'm supposed to scroll down, and if I look at my age, which was 33, that indicates that I'm having a girl. Now, apparently this is only correct 50% of the time. I actually tried this one in my previous pregnancies and it was never right. It always told me I was having a girl, but I was having boys. So we'll see if this is right this time. Number 11 is left versus right. So apparently if you sleep on your left side, or like your left breast grows bigger, you're gonna be having a boy. Whereas if the right side is bigger, or you sleep on your right side, you're gonna be having a girl. So for me, I've always liked sleeping on my left side, and now is no exception. I'm always sleeping on the left mostly. And yeah, my left boob is a little bit bigger. It's always been that way with all of my babies, and it tends to produce a lot more milk than the right side. So I guess that indicates it's a boy. Number 12 is a really interesting one. Apparently, if you break a glass cup, you're going to be having a boy. Now, I haven't broken anything recently, but both of my kids on different occasions recently have broken like a rice bowl and a cup, like a glass cup. So I wonder if this counts. If it does, then that's boy. Number 13 is, apparently if your face looks softer or nicer, you're going to be having a girl, because girls are sweet and wonderful and nice. And if you don't have any change, or if your face like looks meaner or unhappy, you're going to be having a boy. So interestingly, I've actually gotten lots of comments on YouTube saying that my face looks nicer or softer or like yasashi. So I guess that indicates that I'm going to be having a girl. And finally, number 14, this one is really an interesting one. It's kind of deep too. So apparently if you dream about having a baby, or you dream about your baby, whatever gender that baby is in your dream is going to be the actual gender of your baby. Now, this was actually true for my oldest son, Leo. Actually, a few months before I got pregnant with him, I had a dream, and in the dream, it was him as like an adult grown man coming to visit me. So it was kind of like he was just stopping by to say hi or something. That was the impression I got in the dream. But then just a couple of months after that, I found out that I was pregnant, and then it turned out to be a boy. So that's really interesting. Now, I can't say that I've had any dreams recently about babies, but I do remember the last time I had a dream about being pregnant or having a baby, the baby in that dream was a girl. So I guess that indicates girl. So now I'm going to tally up all of the answers to the different 14 superstitions that I looked at. And let's see, for boy, the number was 7. And for girl, the number was also 7. OMG, so which is it, boy or girl? So this is actually going to be a cliffhanger, and you will find out the answer in the next video. So if you like this video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel, and I will be back next week with the answer to if we're having a boy or a girl. And I'm really curious to know in the comments down below. Please let me know, what do you think? Am I having a girl or a boy based on my answers? So that's all for this time. I will see you next time. Mata ne! Bye!